everybody. How's it going? Nothing like a good Dorian jam to wake up the old brain and the fingers. Today, coming to you from Brooklyn, back from a couple of weeks overseas, visiting my favorite city, San Sebastian, Spain. I had a great time, took some cooking classes, and really enjoyed myself, must say. And I'm back here offering another crack at this office hours concept. Just giving folks a chance to, if they've ever tuned into any of my pre-recorded lessons and they figured they were interested in checking out what, hanging out for a little bit with me would be like, or they have a specific question about a lesson that they've seen already, or, just whatever, man. The cool thing about this is, we start out someplace, but we don't know exactly where it's gonna end up. And I don't know, I found it to be pretty enjoyable. I'm still disappointed with the new formatting that they did with my with YouTube, though. You can't seem to find and follow the actual live stream that you're on a separate device, which is really quite annoying for me because the questions don't last for very long. Well, look, let's just get into the matter at hand here. We're talking about a Dorian groove, Dorian sound. Beautiful, and very, probably if I was going to isolate any particular minor sound to understand how to control, it would be my go-to and most important minor to understand how to play. Now, it's completely similar to what we would call the natural minor scale, right? So if we were here, we would hear that as being. Oh, let's get rid of some of that goo. Right. Normally we'd see out of D minor. Right. Normally we'd be playing something that looks like this. Okay, with that B flat in it. Basically the sixth mode of F major, right? So hey, welcome back is right. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate the well wishing. Here, let's get this microphone a little bit better situated here. Get this cable out of the way. Sorry, as you can tell, my ability to perform is okay, but my ability to podcast or whatever you want to call this kind of thing, host a live stream, sucks balls. Oh my God, I hate all this crap. Ugh, it's too many things. Anyway. Anyway, idea being that if we're playing this, right, that is definitely not what we're after. Those B flats are going to be the problem there. This stupid screen is on here. Let's put that bad boy to bed. Doink. Anyway, so B flats. Fuck you, God damn it! I don't want to. Go to bed. There we go. Sleep. So the idea being that we're going to take all our B flats and turn them into B naturals. Right? Okay, so D minor, okay, but with that nice major sixth, or natural sixth, I guess is a better way of putting it, actually. All right, so right, lots of emphasis on the 9. That's the sound that we're after. Boo-boo-da-boo-da. That's the creepy. Right, it's got that. All right, that's the. Right. Very Floydy, right? So Dorian also can be seen as G Mixolydian. Okay, or F, right? We could see that F Lydian, right? Or C major. So you'll see when I'm soloing over top of this, I might go, minor pentatonic. Add a flat 5 in there, get a bluesy sound. Okay? Or you might see me leaning more heavily on these color tones. right? That's the 9. Or the 6. Okay. All right, so when you hear that voodoo, super creepy. That's the B natural. Okay, forms a tritone. Okay, that's a flat 5th between the flat 3rd and that 6th. Okay, and if we're going to have the flat 5 at the party, the 6 and the flat 3 and the root, you've got a built-in diminished arpeggio. Very hip. So superimposing diminished arpeggios over top of Dorian grooves is completely allowable. All right, so if you see that interval, bring it down a minor third, bring it down a minor third, bring it down a minor third. All right, now granted, you do have to apply it in a loving manner, right? B flat up top there. That was terrible. Don't do that. That's kind of the one avoid note, and I lost track. So even good, more experienced players can fuck up. All right. Now you heard me talking some gibberish probably about playing F Lydian. So F Lydian. It's the 4th mode of C major. Right. Basically F major 7 with a flat 5 or sharp 4. Okay, hear that sound. That's the sound. Really nice little way of substituting some things you may have already, backlogged. Okay, this Lydian shape. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of flip it, turn it from a Lydian sound against that F chord. As we're going to take it and now play it as a minor sound. Right, sounds really, really creepy. So this shape I refer to typically as a Lydian pyramid because it's so wide on the bottom. We have 2 major thirds here, right, from F to A, from C to E. Then we get narrower as we head towards the root, okay, which isn't the root in this instance. It's actually the minor third, right? We're using this, kind of taking an F idea and putting it over top of D minor. Okay, normally that would be an F. And the root, now we'd be hearing root 3, sharp 4, 5, major 7, root 3. But this time we're going to take it and turn it into, that's the 5th, the minor 3rd, the 9, the 7. We have yet to hear a root. Right? There's no D's in this line. So it sounds very kind of unrooted. Very fun idea. Likewise, we can take any of our 2-1-2 arpeggios from F Lydian. Like that. That's a good one. the strategies that I employ all the time when I'm thinking about Dorian grooves, right? So if you get a second, let's say this only lasted for a minute or two in a song, you'd be able to blow pretty hard over top of something like that if you employ your pentatonic minor. Just simple, okay? Add in your flat five, and then add in the color tones. Okay, so basically you end up with this symmetrical structure here. Right? So that's going to be root 2, minor 3, 5, 6, natural 6, that's the key note, and flat 7. Minor 3, 4, flat 5. Okay, so we've got those 1 and triplet, 2 and triplet, right? Very helpful little phrasing. I think I'm doing front sides, meaning let's say there's a pair of notes on each string. I'm taking the front side and then going pull off, and then going again from the front side and doing a pull off triplet. And then going. Okay, depending on how kinky you want to get, you can do. Right, you can do the flat 5 in there, or go. Or change it up. So I was doing the front side on the first two, then going the back side with the index finger. Right, so you've got a front side note and a rear side, back door, I guess. I often call these things, hey, how's it going? David, it's nice to see you, man. Sometimes I'll call that a bridge side or a nut side note, right, between the pair here. Right, and it's important that you realize that you can play threes just from the front side or the bridge side. Right? Or just from the nut side. Or then you could alternate them. Right? And same for fours. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you could go. See, I'm going starting on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter which one you're using. Sixes again. Right, so that's front side sixes. Or we can alternate. Okay, so that changes the sound of the sequences that you're playing quite a bit, right? So if we see that going. So it started out over here on the bridge side, then it went to the nut. So then I just alternated the right way. Right? I kind of just let it happen. Whatever feels easiest usually is what I'll try to go for. I tend to favor fluidity over form. I don't really care which way the sequence works. Just I want it to feel, just fluid, right? So if we're looking at that kind of jam, I would also be looking to explore upbeats, right, as a way of creating tension. So we've got a lot of 1, 2, 3, so that kind of thing. Using just that same rhythm, and keep pushing it against it causes a lot of friction. You break out after a little bit once you establish that vibe, right? Sometimes folks will ask what the hell that idea is, right? We're all pretty familiar with this unison bend idea. That kind of idea. Very powerful, cool sound made extraordinarily popular by Jimi Hendrix, okay? Right? Really, really great sound. But a friend of mine used to play this little lick an awful lot when we would play blues together. He would go, right? He would hit the open E string and the D. Right? And I thought that sounded so cool. So what I started doing is saying, oh, well, if I could do that, then in theory I should be able to go. And it's really tense. It's quite a tense sound. So then I started bending up into it to make it even gnarlier. So in the key that we're playing in, D, that would be, I'm shooting for this. And you can hear it in the lick. I think I'm playing this chord right here. So there's a semitone between the 6 and the 7 back here. Right, that's the triad you're hearing going. Okay, so there's a few layers going on in this loop. You've got this. All right, I think there's one other just going. And then I think I put a bass going boom, just little lows. Okay, rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. If it's out of pocket, it sucks, right? So we're hearing this 7 rubbing up against the 6. Whoops. And I think I'm also doing this. You listen in the back, there's a little. So that's the lick that I first started out playing, I think is that. Which was really fun to jam out over it this morning because there's nothing in there defining whether it's major or minor. But then while I was playing along to it, I started doing that. I thought, all right, today we'll make it about Dorian. All right. So if we're going to look at the Dorian scale, we should really take a second to examine what makes Dorian exist, right? Dorian is the second mode of C major, right? So if we have, that's C major. If we took it from D to D, okay, that's all that is. It's just C major starting on the second note, all right? And then if we look at all the chords that are built into, right? C major chords, right? But we can use any combination of them, so I use this D minor sound. But rather than playing it like that, I'm doing this. And then overdubbing the, and then the. Those are the 3 elements that are taking place over this groove. So if you got that much atmosphere kind of cooking, you don't want to mess it up. D Dorian. Whoa! Oh God, it keeps fucking it up. Okay, then we would see E Phrygian, right? F Lydian, G Mixo. Very fun because I've got a lot of G Mixo. Sound a little weird if you make your G Mixo ideas, but right, tends to emphasize that flat six. I mean that natural sixth. Right, can't do any of that bluesy stuff that you would normally do out of G Mixo. So you got to remember, don't let the habits take over. All right, so. All right, and then after G, we would have A minor. All right. Okay, and then last but not least, we would have the C sharp. Sorry, B flat 7 minor, B minor 7 flat 5 chord. Okay, so by inserting any of those arpeggios or chords, right, over top of it, we can now safely play over D Dorian, but from borrowing arpeggio shapes from other modes, and that's kind of the 7-to-1 return that you get by learning how to play modally, is that you could say, oh, I'm going to take that B Locrian arpeggio and put it over top of the 2 chord. Okay, and that's eerily similar to the Lydian idea that I was talking about earlier, because they're the same fucking notes. There's no mysteries here, folks. The hardest part is just applying it, making that one initial jump and saying, oh, all these modes is really just a different way of saying positions or starting points, right? And starting and ending points. And typically, if you spell out the chords based on the every other note principle, right? That's how the C chord is formed. Skip the second note, play the third note. Skip the fourth note, play the fifth note. Then go up one note and do the same thing. Then go up one note and do the same thing. Go up one note, and I don't mean chromatically, I mean within the scale. Again. Okay, here's the tricky one. And then finally. Right? All right, you should be able to do that going ascending up. And going this way. Right, that kind of thing. Okay, that's more vertical playing rather than horizontal playing. Both super duper important. Okay, once you get that all committed as it relates to C, then you should be able to see how that all relates to the D chord, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're just taking D Dorian, which is C major. Okay. Now, so a few of my Garcia principles and lessons that I have glommed onto over the years, they really come in handy for breaking up the monotony of modes. In particular, the 1 fret bend technique you just saw me doing there. That this is, without a doubt, one of the more essential things to cop if you want to understand how I look at the guitar. And obviously, I've been informed by a few of my heroes, Garcia among them. And I know there's a lot of us here that like that style of play. So let's examine what we can do. We can basically do this little where we just hit the scale tone into the target tone and then a 1 fret bend up into it. But rather than picking the last note, we pull off from the target note, back a fret, and then bend up. So if you just do that with every note in the scale as an exercise, right? See what I'm doing? Does that make sense to everybody? I mean, I'm basically just coming down C major or D Dorian, right? Now you can do it with a whole step bend, but it just doesn't sound like, doesn't do the same thing, right? And this is very similar to how Jeff Beck likes to play as well. He likes to do these kinds of... Right, and that kind of brings me to this last bit of circular reasoning behind this idea. Well, rather than doing that, I'm just bending 1 fret up into that really stressy sound. Granted, my mic, very bright, is hearing a lot of the pick attack from my guitar. If I mute the guitar, you'll hear. So you're still hearing that when I'm going. Right, so if you're wondering where those little poppy sounds are coming from, it's from the mic bleeding into from the pick here. But now you'll hear sometimes that kind of sound where it gets kind of tense for a nanosecond. And kind of goes through some chromatics. Okay, and that's kind of some blues. Yeah, thanks, man. I totally appreciate the feedback. So what are you hearing? You're hearing me going through like kind of a sequence that you would normally hear like. Right, doing that. Now, if we do that down the modal scale, right, we would hear like, right, right. Now, but if we include that flat 5 in there, when it gets to there. See how often we hit it because we've got those 3 notes right in a row chromatically, and it creates a tremendous amount of tension while you're soloing, right? So, kind of a randomized little spiky, hearing that spicy pepper. It happens in 2 spots. Okay, so you got this and this. So you get the symmetrical fingering of 1, 2, 4, and then the symmetrical fingering of 1, 3, 4. So you get that. Or okay, so pardon that little flump of doodle. All right, so we can do these. Kind of backdoor thing there, right? That's all using this 1, 2, 4 business. two back-to-back color tone bends of the root. I mean, the 9 and the 6 with the middle finger from 1 fret below. And then really a fun little sound, right? Sounds very, very dramatic when you hear that. Okay, that 1 fret from the flat 2 up into the 2. Or from the flat 6 into the 6. Just a gliss. You can't linger on it for very long at all. So that's pretty much all the little things that I do here. A couple of 2-1-2 arpeggio ideas that I'll often employ here, you know, where you're seeing kind of fast stuff I'll break out. I can easily show you what's going on there. It's an interesting system that utilizes 2 downstrokes. All right, so you would go like down, up, down, down, like that. Down, da, 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 da. So, right? Okay, so if you wanted to do it like this, you can hammer on too. Down, up. So it's instead of doing down, up with a pick, you just do down, hammer, down, down, hammer, down, down, hammer. Okay. All right, and then you can see how I'm doing this same little gliss trick. Basically over every note. There. Every single one of them is getting a 1 fret approach. So, but you kind of got to pepper it. You know, a couple of other ideas here. Right. You can, like I said, we can take ideas. Let's say we were playing a G Mixolydian. Oh, which intervals are, what did that say? Shit. That's what I hate about not being able to see my live stream live here. Boink. It used to just come up right here. Like I couldn't help but see it. Now I can never see it. I don't know what the fuck anybody's asking me. Very annoying. Where is it? Doink. Yeah. Thanks, YouTube. You fucked up. What can I say? I love you for helping me reach folks, but playlists, view all. Let's see about live. Live. Doesn't say anything about live. Nah. Which intervals? Okay, fine. Thanks, Fishy Fish. What do you mean? Which intervals? Which ones am I doing? That one, the half step slide, literally every scale tone. So if you take the that's just C major, right? Right. So if we go, so that's the C, then approach up from one beneath. Oh, in the arpeggio, okay, fine. You can take your pick. You can do 1, 3, 5, 6, like that. Or 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay? So down, up, down, down, up. Right, and that's how we're ending up on that B note is the Dorian sixth, right? If we wanted to add that here, we can do that. Just get at it sooner. But that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of a reach. I rarely use my my pinky. You know, I'm probably more inclined to do that. But for when I know I'm going for that Dorian sixth there, then I'm definitely using the pinky. Okay, and also if I'm playing diminished ideas. Right? Definitely going to want to use my... So the cool thing about this system is the 2-1-2-1-2 stuff. Whenever you see two notes on one string and one note on the next, and two notes on the next string and one note on the next, you get this advantageous picking anomaly. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. So we can do it with a major chord. Dorian. Lydian. Right, there's the... I'm doing all these from the same root of D, so D major. Right? These are all Tim Miller 2-1-2s. Okay, then you could hear... What's dominant? Right, or you could hear... Reach up for the 9 right there. Major. Minor. Diminished. And then dominant. So once you start mixing this in, you start to realize, oh, I don't have to have it always be the root to the third. I could sometimes do a flat third. Or a flat the 2 into the flat third. Right, and just do it like that. So then you get... Right, or we can do them here. Right, so that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So a 2-1-2-1-2 arpeggio. Could just as easily start on the 1. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So starting on that B, we're going to be in D Dorian. Or we could start on A. Okay, or we can come up here. Again, I'm using this arpeggio system an awful lot in my playing. So I'm looking for moments where there's two notes on one string and one note on the next. Hi, all. Great always to catch up. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Okay, so if you start mixing these ideas like F Lydian 2-1-2, right, or G mixo. Right, if you've got the... Over top of that. No, I kind of shook the string off the fingerboard, but... Or... A minor. That's where all the speed and fluidity comes from for me, is with these 2-1-2 shapes. So again, if you want to get the minor one, you go 1, minor 3, 5, 6 or 7. Okay, and then grab your second note. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay. You're getting a lot of info here. I'm sorry if it's coming too dense. Oftentimes when I do these, I think that they are probably too jam-packed. I'm not saying that in a qualitative way, and like it's good. I think it's actually kind of probably difficult to follow because it's a very, very simple idea to play over just the one chord groove, but I'm trying to jam pack this hour of time with some meaningful information here. So you've got sequential ideas and how they stagger from the leading note or the second note in the sequence, right? If we're building sequences off of our pentatonic shapes, right? We broke down building front side or rear, the front or rear notes, right? So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so I'm building off of this one or this one. Or you could alternate them. So front, back, front, back, front. Right, that's one idea. We use the upbeats idea. I don't know who's that ringing my doorbell. Let's see if I will just blow them off and see. It's probably just a package or something. If it's my wife, I'm going to have to go, though. All right, then we did the 1 fret bending in. Then we did the sequential ideas with the flat 5. That exists there with the symmetry, or this one. Then we did the modal interswap, where we did, F Lydian, that idea, or doing a G mixo idea. And that in and of itself is kind of an interesting lesson to examine, is how to build speed with odd numbers of notes per string, but utilizing only 2 pick strokes. So if we're looking at units of 3, right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Conventional wisdom would dictate that we would go down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But over here in Bizarro World, I'm going to tell you to go down, up, pull back, down, up, pull back, down, up, pull back, down, up, pull back. And that way you're going dot, 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 dot. And you get an extra second to just kind of move your hand up. And so instead of hearing, you're going to hear, okay, and on the way up you hear, this is the way I build speed, without a doubt. Like, I'm not picking every note, but I'm not a huge legato guy either. All right, so if you just work that one little sequence of going, right, just kind of up and down the G Mixolydian or D minor, D Dorian scale. Okay, but you can see it as being down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down, up, slide. Down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down. Right? So I'm doing that all the time, right? So you just gotta, there it is again, down, up, slide, sorry, down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down, up, slide, or bend rather. Other things we talked about is that utilizing the sequencing of down what is it? 1 and triplet. 1 and triplet. 1 and triplet, 2 and triplet, 3 and triplet. Okay, and that was just that. So you can do 1 and triplet, or just 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4, right? But I like the. But over here, it's easier to go. So I just do it there. It's like I'm not the most like complete. I don't play everything in both positions all the time. I don't really feel like my playing has to evolve completely symmetrically. And I kind of feel like whatever I do best in that position, that's what I'm going to do most in that position. And I just keep stockpiling ideas that are fluid until there's enough of them, and then the basic sound is fluid. But it's not like I could play everything both ways. No, there's certain things that are much easier in certain ways, and take advantage of that. And so there's a certain asymmetrical development that takes place in one's lick vocabulary. Right? If something is much easier to do, I'm gonna take it and exploit that little glitch. All right. So this little idea, that's really, really, really handy. Okay. So if you look at any scale that you want to play, you want to go down, up, slide, up one, and then go right down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down, up, slide, down, up. And then on the way back, that's sounding an awful lot like C major all of a sudden. Yeah. That's super helpful catching this. Oh, gotta get that away from that. Yeah, I'm not sure which element of that you're finding super helpful. You mean the down up slide idea? Or, all right, some of the other ideas that we want to think about is obviously exploiting those 2-1-2 arpeggios, and therefore also looking at 1-2-1 arpeggios. I kind of alluded to that. So if we were to say, take a 2-1-2 arpeggio, we'd be seeing this sound. Right? That's going to be kind of a G, 7 sus2 kind of sound over top of. Right? That's kind of a nice sound to hear that undefined, there's no minor third there. Right? There's our 6, or we can hit that. Okay, so that's utilizing the 2-1-2 sound. But if we wanted to go 1-2-1-1-2, yeah, down up slide. Okay, good. I've used it with the pentatonic. Sure. Well, that's basically what we're doing. Is we're just modifying our knowledge from the pentatonic. Down up slide. So you can do it there or here. Right, C major. That kind of thing would be completely diatonic, right? C major is what we're talking about here. Okay, so the down up slide thing is really great for ascending and descending, right? You can do it coming backwards. So what would that be? All right, and it's also really helpful because it helps you utilize all the fingerboard kind of in this, like, there's another index finger or another ring finger on your hand. So you can utilize it to get around, right? Okay, so so I was talking about 1-2-1s as opposed to 2-1-2s, right? Instead of going 2-1-2-1, you could then just start the whole idea on like 1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2-1 1, 2. Right, and you end up this. Very nice sound. Kind of avoids some of the more important notes, but it's a nice open sound. You can even superimpose pentatonics that you might not be thinking about, right? A minor pentatonic sounds really nice. That's wrong. I want to avoid that F sharp, obviously, at all costs. All right, so that was me doing more like a parallel. You can do it out of D minor, obviously. Right, so that would be. But you could also do it out of A minor. Well, C major pentatonic would work over C major. So A minor pentatonic would work over C major. So you can steal the pentatonics of the relative major and minor, right? So there's our major, so that's our minor. So playing A minor pentatonic over top of D minor sounds really cool, mainly because we omit the minor third. Right? That's the sound of Coltrane, right? Right, he loved that. And then stacking it in fours, you get that kind of sound. Whoops, look out for that. Last but not least, we can talk about string skipping. String skipping is super helpful over top of these things if you want to create greater distance and more of an open line. So if we were to take something as simple as going... Just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Those are fours. Oh, okay. Now let's add a little kink to it. Remember my idea behind this 1, 3, 4? By bringing the wild man to the party, the flat 5, right? You can now do those fours and go through the sequence. Okay, or we could go in thirds. Right? Those wider intervals and we start to string skip. Now watch, instead of going back in thirds, still utilizing that flat 5. Right, that's a nice sound. What I want you to do is treat the B strings note like it's on the G string. So yeah, instead of going to the B string, I'm going to go, and then going, I'm going to go. Okay, so I'm going to use my pinky to throw up onto the ones. I'm going to string skip with the pinky. Right? Very, very angular ideas, okay? I'm just fucking around, but it's still really fun. All right, so that idea of just gotta keep reaching up. Big interval. I think I should take a small section from my office hours and post them as lessons. So I think you're right, but I don't have enough time to do that. So what I do is I just barf up everything I think into one big hour, and then I let you guys whack at it. So I mean, I agree, but I'm not really, I'm not really that serious about YouTubing for. I'm just too fucking old. I'm too old and too lazy. I'm too busy. I got a ton of shit I got to take care of. But when I have an extra hour, I do find this to be fun and enjoyable. And I pretty much have already done. I've actually shared this. If you go into my licks and before my YouTube channel started out super shitty and small. Keep barfing. Okay, always. Thanks, man. So yeah, my YouTube channel started super small. It's still pretty small. There's only like 6,000 subscribers or something like that. So it's a pretty small audience, I think, in the first place. Pretty, usually pretty intelligent, aspiring players who are kind of frustrated with the available education that's out there. And it is nice, I think, to I've always enjoyed getting to talk to players that blow my mind, and they kind of break out like, oh, no, this is how the sausage is made. Don't sweat that. Do this, do X, Y, Z. Here's what I was thinking while I did that. How did I come up with that idea? Like what kind of like inside trader information. Like this is kind of I'm not saying it's not obvious once you know it. You're like, oh, but it's being shown sometimes is important. Like, what was he thinking? Why does it work? How does that, like that? I remember when I stumbled upon ideas of enclosures or something, or sequences, right? I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to actually think about any of that shit. I just kind of go, right? I'm thinking, and I just kind of let my hands, because at that point, the melodic information is kind of secondary to the rhythmic information, and the human ear just says, oh, patterns, me likey, I love the stream of consciousness thing. Good, that's cool. I'm glad. I mean, I agree with the other comment though, that it could be meaningful for me to do this kind of thing, spotlight something that was intelligent, and kind of manicure it into a more curated, like presentable thing. And that's what the Jacksnax stuff that you'll find under the licks tips and stuff like that already is. And you can actually find I think it's actually even this exact lick, where I'm doing that little string skipping idea, for example. There's a bunch of that stuff. So this is a little bit more informal and a little bit easier for me, because I don't have to play the same lick over and over again and then explain it. I kind of put more of the onus on you guys. So not to admit to plead guilty to being lazy, but I'm definitely losing my patience for like how uptight some of those lessons have to be, especially Love the Grooves. You mean this kind of thing? This is basically just, something. This might as well be, Curtis Mayfield meets The Wall. It's just like, Daddy's flown across the ocean. It's kind of leaving just definitely Floydy. But one of the things that great player here at Brooklyn, God, what the fuck is his name? Fuck it. It's lost on me at the moment. But he came over to my house once. We played a little bit, and I played an idea. I went like this, and he was like, "That's really cool. I do that all the time," and I'd never done it before. Or maybe he did it, and I tried to cop it off of him. I can't remember exactly, but it's become interwoven into what I think of as my ideas at this point, and it's basically going. You see how I'm pivoting back and forth from one. We'll use the fifth on the way up, right? See how I'm going. So I'm going 5, 6, 5, 7, 5 root, right? And then, or maybe even go through the flat 5 into that sharp 4, right? So that kind of thing could be really helpful over top of that. Kind of fun. That's one of my favorite moves. You just hear it all the time. Even from notes that or this is treacherous to play the major third. Okay, so, but there it is. I don't do it that often there. I don't even like any major third in my minor usually. But you can get away with it, but I don't do it on purpose. If you see me on the F sharp over top of D Dorian grooves, I'm always like, oh boy, better bend up quickly into the 4, right? Similarly, if you see me on the flat 6, right? This I'm always going to be applying instantly. If I make that mistake of playing the typical Aeolian minor at 6, got to get up there. So, right, I'll come down through it. Right, you can hear that kind of Latino thing going. You could do, right. There it is. And at that point, the chromaticism of the descending note takes precedence over the mode, right? So right? Being obviously doing that is a very meaningful way of practicing too. Turn out the lights, put on the groove, and try singing your lines. Try being George Benson for 5 fucking seconds and see how possible it is, right? I don't know if I'm singing what I'm going to play or playing what I'm going to sing. The truth is, at this point, there's like a feedback loop that's taking place between my ears, my brain, and my hands. And that's kind of the fluidity that I think we all are striving for. As kind of irregardless of where the momentum begins, the fact that it exists is what I can capitalize upon. So I want you to take away a few things here. If you're young, well, not young, but kind of just coming to the dawn of your mind instrument connection, right? It is very, very meaningful to stop thinking and start listening more and start to try to sing lines before, if you're thinking about things almost like a drummer would, right? It's one of the more salient pieces of advice I was given is stop thinking about notes and start thinking about rhythmic groups. So if you're hearing this, you'll almost find the notes that you want to sing just by your thinking of the rhythmic group. You'll kind of effectively sing the pitches of the drums that you're virtually playing. So kind of like when you're driving your car and a whole lot of love comes on or some big drum fill, you actually do assign pitches when you go do 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 boom boom, right? Well, that's In the Air Tonight's drum fill, right? But whatever it is that you're doing, as you anthropomorphize your instrument, bring life into this hunk of wood and wire. All right. Right. You gotta kind of compartmentalize what you're targeting and work on it. And I love playing in the dark. I'm playing in the bright for you guys. But I must say, I've learned a hell of a lot by playing along to just a big, long, slow D note and try to figure out where all those notes are and how to kind of get at them. Right, so that's... That's a big stretch. Same idea. Kind of looks like a spider though, right? But that's that F Lydian idea. G7. So it's G mixo ideas, F Lydian ideas, C major. Sorry. All that shit can easily transfer into this D Dorian sounds, A minor again. Same thing, A minor and C major, same ideas, right? And then last but not least, the kind of most elusive one is that Locrian sound, which I basically just conflate with using the 5. So I think of B Locrian, all right, as being an inversion of a G7 chord, okay, viewed from the 3rd, flat 7, 9, and 5th, right, like that. Okay, that's how I use that. I use it as kind of like when you see that shape used in like Stormy Monday or something like that, or a blues, where you see those. And then over the C chord. Okay, so the same idea. Over here, if we're out of the key of C, the approach, right, that's the half diminished chord right there. So that's a very usable sound for sure. But a lot of folks will tell you to blow off the Locrian shapes, but they're super important because they transfer really nicely into working as extensions of the 5th or Mixolydian mode, right? And then here we are playing Mixolydian shapes over top of Dorian grooves. It's like, it's really hard to keep track of all this stuff, but it's all C major, right? That's what's so powerful about like tune like Shakedown Street, right? You can basically play D Dorian over the whole thing or C major over the whole thing. Ironically, the chorus is over a C7 chord, so you don't really get to do that. Over the chorus, you have to think about other scale ideas. But for the bulk of the tune, and therefore the solo, that you're playing over top of the all that, just thinking G major with that flat 7, and then F, and then right. Maybe that's 'cause it's midnight. E minor. But then we don't do that. E minor. We want to, right? Because it's E minor after following that F major 7 chord. So you don't ever want to play. You want to go and over E minor. You got to think. Sorry. So I tend to just avoid playing E Phrygian over top of that E minor chord and shake down and go. Or, all right, but I kind of digress from the starting point of this lesson, which is D Dorian. Okay, so a lot of ideas that we can kind of hitch our little red wagon to, but over time, they do tend to blur. That's what I'm telling you as somebody who's been hammering away at this idea and this style of music for the better part of 45 years now, 44 years. Pardon me. You know, these little ideas, sequencing, you know, even with the out notes. Right, kind of. It doesn't matter. Symmetry quickly just becomes accepted. So you could find like even examples of, I think Van Halen likes to do things like, he's literally just playing the same shape across. You know, and over time, goes fast enough, nobody hears the wacky do notes. He tends to do it over top of more bluesy sounds than this distinctly minor, right? So, I mean, I might not employ that same exact symmetrical lick that Eddie did, and I'm the one. That's where that's taken from, you know. I think he does it here. Granted, like twice as fast as that, a lot more aggression than this old brain can muster at this point. All right, so but if we are talking about, you know, playing into the ideas generating game, that's really what we want to focus in on, all right? And remembering what idea we're cultivating. So when you look at this lesson, all right, and I hope anybody that's made it this far, because it's like an hour and 20 minutes or whatever, I hope that you take it upon yourself to kind of bifurcate or whatever, separate little things that you like or find and kind of loop it in your brain. Don't try to eat all of it in one bite. You got to kind of think about, okay, I'm going to break out this little idea. I'm going to work on that descending in minor thirds, or, you know, in thirds through the scale, and use the flat 5 as one of the notes. Okay. Right here. Okay. Then try playing it twice as fast, right? Okay. And then trying to obviously implement it into a musical phrase like I ended up doing at the end. That's what I want you to do. If you just work on playing what I showed you and then go to the next thing and the next thing without taking it the last step and actually implementing it out of your own mind, your own vocabulary, your own ears, that's where you're going to run into problems of having only one or two ideas. And they'll be mine rather than yours. And I don't mind starting a fire, okay, for under your butt to get you moving, but it can't be the only thing you know, all right? Otherwise, what's the point of me sharing that I'm doing this? So you take my idea and then you go one or two steps down the road, and that's how the genealogy of music gets passed around. All right, so I don't really have too much more to share or say other than I missed you guys. Well, I missed playing guitar and being online and communicating with folks and teaching, actually. As you get older, you have less opportunities sometimes to play with folks, or, maybe you feel like you're getting to the end of your road as a musician and sharing with people. And it's super nice to be able to connect with younger minds and younger players or people that are curious about what you know. And it's flattering, frankly, to be asked to share your knowledge, let alone be paid to do it. But I tend not to be too much of a huckster here. But if I don't know what happened. Oh, I guess I drained my battery here. If you're into this kind of thing and you understand what I'm doing as a teacher and how I teach, and understand that I ask a lot of my students. I ask them to do homework. I ask them to do shit. Now, granted, most of the time they blow me off, but that's okay. The idea is to try to hold somebody accountable, right? And the ones that obviously have benefited the most from working with me are the ones that actually work in concert with me throughout the week, showing me what they're working on and how they're implementing the strategies that we discuss, and then bringing it back, and then they give me an opportunity to opine on it. And that's thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate you, actually. I appreciate the appreciation. So let's be perfectly honest. But anyway, teaching is a wonderful thing for both the teacher and the student. The teacher feels useful, and like the work that I put into it won't just die with me. It'll actually maybe go on to make more music with other people. And that's kind of, if you're 55 and you're thinking, I probably got another 10 or 15 years of music making in me, what am I really going to accomplish? I'm certainly not going to set the world on fire or anything like that. This is a young man's game. Or women's game. I wouldn't rule out any of my sisters. All right, so it's a very powerful and meaningful part of my life to actually give back to the world that gave me what arguably brought me everything I have, which is a lot. I mean, I'm really, really a happy guy. I got a lot on my plate, but I'm happy to share, and I kind of view it as an obligation to do these, give the opportunity for people who don't have enough money to, hire me or hire a local Shreddosaurus to teach them how to do what they want to do, to put out responsibly generated or at least accurate guitar information. There are other guys that do a great job out here online as well. I think, I'm not sure how to pronounce Jack Roosh. I think he's a really, really powerful educator and spectacular musician. There's other guys that have dynamite channels. Obviously, I think of myself as being more of a informal kind of cat. I don't really come up with like a totally curated lessons idea. I'm more of a little bit more scattered and informal. So I'm happy to meet with anybody privately if they want to do lessons. I teach probably around 25 hours a week. So if you want to get up on that, that's cool. You can find my information usually at the, in any of the 300 lessons on my page here, or you can just reach out Jack_Devine, DEVINE at hotmail.com. If you made it this far and you made it to the sales pitch, not exactly the most strategic place to put it is in the last minute. Anyway, I feel eventually your channel will take off once it gets out. It's been 2-3 years. I think we've basically seen peak Jack. I'm just too sloppy and I'm just too sloppy and long-winded, but I don't mind. I am what I am, and I'm happy to be me and share with whoever's who's into it. So anyway, everybody, my wife is home from her orthodontist appointment. I'm going to go upstairs and have some lunch with her and enjoy being home. I went away with my son, and we took some cooking classes in the north of Spain. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And but I do miss the other two people in my family, so I'm happy to spend some time with the wife. So while she was gone, I figured I would do this because it's been 2 weeks since I played guitar, and figured I would share. So adios, amigos. Thank you very much for your time. Really do appreciate it. And if you like what you're hearing, if you haven't subscribed, hey, please do. I assume if you made it this far, you definitely have subscribed. So, no, absolutely. You have a nice day too, okay, Joshi or Joshi or Yoshi. I'm not sure how you're pronouncing that. Awesome name. But I'm going to bail. All right. Take care, everybody. Much love.